It's been way too long. The smartest Rick and Mortiest Morty in the universe are back. And things are pretty much the same. All up.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my new Rick and Morty Season 4 trailer video for the rest of the episodes for Season 4. That's right, episodes 6 through 10. It might be April 1st, but this is not an April Fool's Day Rick and Morty joke. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the Rick and Morty videos. We'll do a giveaway for Rick and Morty merch. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your biggest Citadel of Rick's Evil Morty theory on the video, because the Citadel is heavily featured during all this footage. We'll just go through all the Easter eggs and references here shot by shot. We even get a new scene from an episode that confirms another real scene from the Season 4 intro. But it looks like utter chaos and war in all the different episodes that they go to. There are several large battles that they fight in. They're either running from creatures or running to fight creatures. So if you felt like there wasn't enough action in the first half of Season 4, it seems like they just completely ramped it up in the back half. Like they're saving all the really good stuff for the second half of the season. And it seems like they're bringing back a ton of old characters that we have not seen in a long time. So get a shout out for Birdperson. We just got that big Toonami anime episode that they did a couple days ago. I've already done a video for that, so I'll link it at the end of this. But in another big anime reference at the beginning of the trailer here, Rick calls out the anime trope of overly long suit-up montages. Now, I saw a lot of people questioning what this is specifically referencing, but it looks mostly like it's meant to be a Gundam Wing Morty and Gundam Wing Rick reference. So no surprise that they just did a big long anime episode, but it also reminds you of Jerry at the beginning of Season 4 where he was yelling at Rick for Morty turning himself into an Akira, saying no more anime stuff. But the aliens that they're fighting are actually from Rick and Morty Season 3 Episode 5, Whirly Dirly Conspiracy, with the really wide eyes. But the aliens that they're fighting seems like they've been taken over by this weird facehugger species that are then later trying to get inside Rick's ship. So it's really the facehuggers that they're fighting, and it seems like Summer has seemingly become their queen, like they're all fawning over her for some reason, and she's wearing their clothing. Rick tells Morty that they have to wear the dead facehuggers in order to blend in, and oops, Morty's is still alive. Another great example of how Rick does care about Morty, but doesn't really care about their physical form so much. Like he's replaced his body so many times. Season 3, Episode 1 is a great example of him just jumping from body to body, not really caring about his body being destroyed. He's only a little more careful with Morty, but not that precious with Morty's body. Like later in the trailer when he says, if anything goes wrong, which it won't, be sure to jump into the same vat of acid that I do. You have this giant army of the Ricks from the Citadel of Ricks in battle armor standing in formation with an army of Meeseeks, and then it's a little too pixelated to make out this other legion of giant creatures, but they kind of look familiar too, all getting ready to lay siege to this walled city. Their armor gives off a very Doctor Who Time Lords vibe. A long time ago, Dan Harmon referenced Doctor Who as one of the bigger inspirations for how Rick and Morty works, even though they try to avoid time travel, with very few exceptions. Season 4, Episode 5 is a really good example of that with the Snake Terminator plot, which seems kind of counter to their policies before, so there's a little bit of time travel in Rick and Morty now. They pick up with Thin Lizzy's The Boys Are Back in Town theme song, which is just a reference to the show coming back, but you could also think of it as a meta reference to all the other versions of Rick and Morty being back, like the Citadel of Ricks as we see, which also means that Evil Morty is also back. Dan and Justin did say at the beginning of Season 4 that there would be a big Rick and Morty Season 5 teaser in a Season 4 post-credit scene. I'm just assuming that that's probably going to be the Season 4 finale, and it'll have something to do with their serialized Evil Morty Citadel arc. This is a scene of Rick running through a different building somewhere else, shooting at these robotic-looking creatures firing a turret at him, with green-looking portal fluid powering it. But it's probably not portal fluid, it's probably just a coincidence that it's green. Because this doesn't look like Citadel architecture or design language, and the portal fluid is heavily regulated in a closely guarded secret by all Ricks, not just the Citadel of Ricks. The whole basis for a couple of story arcs in the beginning was the galactic government trying to get his portal technology, as well as other races wanting to get his portal fluid. He drinks a flask of blue fluid, which gives him 5 arms, almost making him like Spider-Man during the 6-arm saga. You could also make a General Grievous Star Wars joke too.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Rick battles a giant wolf in some snowbound ice city. It's a little hard to make out what kind of aliens those ice statues are made to resemble. But then Rick looks like he's trying to perform some sort of exorcism on Morty, removing some aspect that's bound to him, holding this remote. Maybe this is something that Morty did to himself on accident, because Rick has that look on his face that he gets when Morty does something stupid and he has to clean up the mess. There's a really cool transition to a different scene in a different episode of them fighting in this giant bee-like hive structure that's overtaken this city. This might have something to do with the summer facehugger plot. You get a clear shot of the car's battery and engine compartment when Morty is using the underside turret, which, one, it's cool that Rick's ship has a turret gun, Star Wars Millennium Falcon style, but it also reminds you that Zeep Zandflorp is still alive down in the battery, even though I think technically time is supposed to move faster down there. Speaking of big characters coming back, Snuffles is back from Rick and Morty Season 1 Episode 2, Lawnmower Dog, and it looks like he's in a battle to the death with some sort of hyper-intelligent cat race and they're just battling each other in their mechs. I'm assuming this is some Dan Harmon cats hating dogs joke that he's riffing on here. When Rick pulls up the garage door here and the SWAT trucks arrive, he's also got that nonchalant look on his face, like he's in the middle of explaining why Morty is stupid for wanting to do something, and before he can finish his sentence, something stupid happens. It's hard to tell where Jerry is here, but there are so many scenes of them referencing the Citadel. This might be where Jerry is flying through these transport tubes, but he's got a camping pack with him in a bedroll, so they might open the episode with just like the basic premise that they're on a camping trip that just goes completely off the rails. This is Morty being chased down by Rick cops from the Citadel of Ricks after it looks like he busts out of one of these incubators that you see in the background, meaning that they do go back to the Citadel at some point, or this Morty might just be one of the many Morty replacements that they always reference. One free replacement Morty voucher. Then they finally bring back Jessica, so I'm assuming that Birdperson is somewhere nearby here in this big battle that they're fighting. But she and Summer having a big lightsaber battle to the death, nice Star Wars reference. There's a statue of what looks like a dog behind them, so this larger battle that they're engaged in might have something to do with what's going on with Snuffles in this giant cat fight. And because the end of Season 3, Episode 1 implied that Jessica has some crazy authority, maybe this is just the galactic government remnants trying to come back, or maybe they're trying to make some reference to the new Star Wars films with the First Order. This is a scene confirming one more real scene during the new Season 4 intro. It's always fun to try and guess which of the intro scenes are actually showing up in episodes during a season. Normally you would say some of them are real scenes, some of them are fake scenes, but I also like the theory that all the intro scenes are meant to be real, it's just that they haven't got to all those episodes yet, like the long-running Baby Cthulhu episode theory. But this guy here that looks kind of ridiculous seems like he's something right out of Flash Gordon. Based on the design of these green vats, it seems like they're falling into portal fluid just because this green swirling motion is exactly the way the portals look. So it might be happening back at the Citadel, but you could also make a Batman Joker origin story reference, like the Joker falls into the vat of acid and becomes the Joker. This joke about Jerry's own honey seems like a Newman's Own reference. If you're not familiar with that, Paul Newman, the actor, has a line of food products called Newman's Own. So it seems like Jerry's tried to create his own brand of honey. The honey might be related to the scenes of Rick and Morty fighting on that bee-like world with the bee-like ships too. Love the way the family just casually shades him when he yells about having dreams and aspirations, like they don't even take him seriously, not even a little bit, just casually resuming their conversation as if they didn't hear him. It kind of brings things back around from the beginning of the season where he got all high and mighty with Rick when he was trying to go off with Morty in that first adventure. Then Rick isn't quite sure if he's taking the right amount of Adderall, just reminding you that he is on the spectrum. I think the first time he openly implied that he had some form of autism was when they were playing Minecraft in Season 3, Episode 10, right before the president called him. But if you didn't see it during the trailer, the episodes are coming back May 3rd, and there'll be 5 more episodes, so 10 episodes total during Season 4. I'm assuming it's going to be the same for the rest of the 70 episodes of Rick and Morty. Hopefully they won't do the same thing with Season 5, breaking it in half so we only get 5 and 5. But they might wind up doing the same thing at the end of this year, where they air the first half of Season 5, and then they wait till the middle of next year to air the second half of Season 5. But at least we have a better idea for how they structure the seasons. I know everyone wants to know why they did this in the first place. Why did they wait so long to air the second 5 episodes? It's actually because they blew past their deadlines. They even said it during a clip earlier this year when they were trying to promote the first half of the season.
We had all 10 ready to go, but we had to legally cut it back to just 5. We did some focus test screenings.
We showed all 10 episodes to a housewife from Salt Lake City. And her balls blew off like after episode 3. Rick and Morty could actually literally blow your balls off.
We missed all of our deadlines.
When Rick and Morty came back for Season 4, the network actually appointed a special executive producer that Dan Harmon said, in his words, was there to keep the trains running on time, but I don't know when he came on board. Even though there are a lot of delays happening right now because of what's going on with the virus around the world, animation is a little bit easier to complete from home. So now that they have the ball rolling, even worst case scenario, they break the seasons in half, they'll still be able to get them out on a more regular basis. So you might go 6 months without episodes instead of going a full 2 years without episodes again. If you spotted any big Easter eggs in the trailer that I didn't mention in the video, just write them below in the comments, and I'll name a giveaway winner when I post new Rick and Morty. There will be some more promos before the season actually gets here, so just a bit of good news with all the bad stuff that's happening around the world right now. Everyone click here to watch that anime Rick and Morty episode, and click here for my brand new Venom 2 Spider-Man video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, I'll see you guys tonight.